Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to talk about Quant and specifically what has been going on with them and getting much more deeper roots into another economic superpower of Japan. There was a big forum that happened this weekend called the Global Finance Technology Network, or just ended over the weekend, and it was over in Japan. Quant was there, Gilbert Veridian was there, the newest partnership of Dentsu Soken was there, as well as a lot of other technology and fintech groups to discuss several things that has to do with digital currency, essentially. So I'm going to get in a little bit as to why that matters and how it's setting up for a lot of what we're expecting for 2026 and beyond with Quant as regulation legislation really starts kicking in. So as always, please guys, let me know your thoughts and comments down below. I love interacting with you guys. I'll get to every comment that I see and notice for a little while. And let's just dive right into this, specifically on why the hell Japan matters so much. So Japan consistently ranks as either the third or the fourth largest economy in the world. It really just depends on currency fluctuations at the time. All right, we're talking about multi-trillion dollar GDP. We're talking about one of the deepest capital markets globally. And we're talking about a country whose institutional banking system is systematically important to global finance. They really effing matter. Right? It's not like Japan is an emerging market experimenting with blockchain to attract startups, right? It's a financial pillar of our society as we know it. So Japan's banking layer is massive and highly institutional, right? They've got mega banks, they've got deep corporate banking networks, they've got quite tight regulatory oversight and strong coordination between enterprise and government. In short, any company that's appearing inside Japan's financial conversations, you're operating at an institutional level and it's going to matter. Again, welcome Quant, right? A big thing that a lot of people, I believe, overlook is that Japan is one of the more clear regulatory frameworks for digital assets right now, right? I mean, they're ahead of almost everybody else. Certainly, they're ahead of the US in terms of this, right? A lot of other jurisdictions are struggling with enforcement by headline, while Japan has already built structured frameworks for exchanges, custody, and tokenized instruments. Right, infrastructure scales where there's already regulatory clarity, and Japan has this clarity, which is a great spot and time for cryptocurrency to make their move in this superpower. So the Bank of Japan, they've been actively researching and piloting central bank digital currency frameworks for several years now at this point. Right, they've conducted proof of concept phases, they've tested retail designs, they've explored wholesale settlement structures. So whether Japan actually launches a retail-based CBDC tomorrow or a week or a year is kind of secondary, because the most important point is they're building digital monetary infrastructure, right? And that's the type of environment where you need interoperability. So the last couple of days of February, what the heck happened in Japan? So there was the GFTN, again, the Global Finance and Technology Network. It's a Singapore-based organization, but they hosted this giant forum in Japan where they had a bunch of financial institutions, fintech firms, infrastructure providers, central banks, all invited to sit down, discuss, network, and learn about some pretty cool nerdy stuff actually, right? The digital finance, tokenization, CBDCs, cross-border payments, regulatory coordination, and of course, financial interoperability, right? So at the GFTN forum in Tokyo, it was policy heavy, right? There was regulator attended financial forums where quant leadership, they were present. Gilbert Veridian was there, and so were a lot of Japanese institutional partners. One of those partners happened to be Dentsu Soken. So if you're unfamiliar with this, Dentsu Soken recently partnered up with Quant, and they do several things on, we'll call it the back end of banks, but one of the largest things, at least in terms of what I consider one of the most important things they do, is they kind of give financial therapy to Japanese banks, right? They give them recommendations of which way to go, how they should form their roadmaps, what technology, hardware, and software they should use and to implement. And you know what? It's great that they partnered up with Quant because many times, who do you think they're going to recommend, right? If they've got a straight-on partnership with a blockchain interoperability company, it's pretty much saying Quant is in Japan without directly coming out and saying Quant is in Japan. So really only those of us who know as of now. The word will get out before too long, I'm sure. Not concerned about it. Actually, if one takes a little bit longer, I'm not complaining about accumulating a little bit more Quant at this price. Because at some point, the 60s, 70s, below 100 is going to be a thing of the past. So why exactly does this forum matter? So there wasn't any big news that I saw yet specifically come from Gilbert Veridian from this. However, this forum, it was all focused on regulated finance. Again, tokenized deposits, institutional liquidity, cross-border infrastructure. A lot of stuff that people aren't going to talk about the details to us anyway. They make us put all these, they give us a lot of puzzle pieces and we have to put it together. And I mean, the puzzle is looking an awful lot like Quant for a large part of the backbone of the future of finance, right? So when companies show up to environments like this, they're not pitching retail narratives, right? They're discussing integration. How can everybody work together? How are we going to move forward? How are we going to end up making this whole dream of digital finance real on the time frame that everybody has, which is really the next couple of years, guys. We're going to see more and more get released about this. So we look a little bit about macro implications here. Japan sits at the center of the Asia-Pacific capital corridors, right? Like they're one of the kings over there. Right? It's deeply connected to global banking networks across the entire freaking world. It's participates in cross-border settlement flows, and Japan is intertwined with the US, EU, and Asian financial systems. They do a lot of effing trading. They do a lot of financial exchanges back and forth, right? The future of tokenization isn't about isolated countries or isolated blockchains. It's about interoperability, connecting all of this stuff, connecting tokenized deposits, tokenized collateral, connecting stable coins with CBDCs, connecting it with other tokenized blockchains and their tokens and the way they integrate and operate with each other. And it's connecting all of that with legacy tech as well. So that fragmentation of where all these things are different technology is a problem. And for the longest while, the solution has been building up. It's been very specific to what everybody needs, learning about the tech of the legacy tech, about fintech, what people want, what the regulation and clarity seems to be. And the solution is going to be called Quant, right? Right now, digital finance is still fragmented. There's different jurisdictions, there's different regulatory models. That's something that they're working on. That was a big part of the discussion at this forum. There's different ledger systems. There's different compliance standards. So interoperability is way past theoretical. It's here. It's needed. It's required. And when you get Quant that goes there into these forums where everyone who's involved trying to figure out, okay, this is how we're going to work with you guys. This is how you guys are going to work with them. This is the regulations we have versus what you have. Gilbert Veridian's got to be sitting there twiddling his thumbs just smiling because they need a way of connecting everything. And so it's not just a random happen chance that they get invited to all these kind of things. They need to be in the know, and people are willingly keeping them in the know. Great signs. Again, just more pieces to this puzzle. So right now, this isn't a question about is Japan fully adopting Quant or have they? I think that this is where it's leading to, of course. But just going out there and saying it, it's kind of irresponsible. It's a little too early. Always shoot your shot, but not too early. Got to keep this controlled. All right, but right now it's just about recognizing where conversations are happening and who are having those conversations. Right? So it's not whether anything like this ends up moving the price of Quant. Utility is going to do that. So the more we hear about the future utility of it and just more of how much it's needed, right? This isn't just about, Quant is going to be awesome. It's the best thing out there. No, it's that is a requirement. We need interoperability. We need safe quantum proof interoperability, which QNT has already got. And it's in with some of the largest banks in the world. And when the ones that they're not in with, know about them because they're being invited to the exact same events, the exact same forums, hearing the exact same people talk about what is needed. And really, everyone else is saying how they can help solve problems. And interoperability is a very large problem. And there's only a few candidates that have any real chance of solving it. And as much as I like some of those other companies, Chainlink, Quant is far better at it. Like some of those other companies, Chainlink, Quant is far better at it. It was designed and created with all the regulation that is expected to happen in mind, all of the legacy tech with banks and the other ledgers in mind, so that way they can connect them all and make this a nice, easy process to where in 10 years from now, let alone down the road, anyone who's working in banks has no idea they're using blockchain technology. They have no idea they're using Quant. It's just happening constantly every day at that point. It's not just random happen chance that Quant just keeps appearing inside and next to a bunch of financial superpowers, governments, and agencies. We're in the UK, we're in Europe, now we're in Japan, right? And those are large ones. Infrastructure doesn't expand through hype, right? Hype will come when people realize what they've already been missing as the developments have been happening. Infrastructure expands jurisdiction by jurisdiction, regulator by regulator, institution by institution, right? And Japan is not a minor jurisdiction. It adds a lot of great qualities and financial power behind the EU, UK, and everyone else that's going to be joining with cross-border payments and interoperability in the next 3-10 years plus. So, it's great to see Quant keeps getting looser and looser with who they're working with. More and more hands are coming in, right? It's great to keep seeing this very strategic and very forward-thinking expansion because we're going to need it. The whole world connects through money. It is the universal language in our world. And the language is going to kind of be translated by Quant. Awesome future ahead, guys. Let me know your thoughts down below. I'll talk to you guys again soon. Peace.